Hey, YouTube listeners and watchers. This video today is just questioning a whole lot of things that don't make sense, and one of them is the fact that we got a whole lot of different continents, like they say 7 continents, but nothing supports that in the Bible. Nothing, and even there's things that are happening around us. They support something else. So I just want to show you some stuff, then you can make your own decision or conclusion into, are we really having them 7 continents or just one? Okay, because I see just one, which is now what's called African continent. And within that African continent, the land from Ethiopia down is Canaan. The one that was given to children of Israel is called Canaan. But everything else is what was created, which is the African continent. Okay, and within that African continent, there's the ends of the, it's called the earth. Okay, because even when the Father Creator in Genesis, when he was creating, he said he's dividing the waters into land. There must be dry lands, okay? And he called the dry land earth, all right? So, excuse me, earth or land. I mean, it's just so. But he doesn't further say that he further made other continents or made other civilization, whatever it is called. But he doesn't say that all these 7 continents. It only speaks of one time creation, and that's one. Okay. Now I want to show you a whole lot of other information. I want to say information. I want to say it's evidence, but it's some stuff that I've been seeing and observing, and starting to get all these kind of questions because of this kind of stuff that don't make sense. Okay, now y'all remember okay, yeah, y'all remember the cartoon The Simpsons. Now The Simpsons have been doing a whole lot of, you watch a show and then somewhere 5 years later the same things that were shown on the show just appear, that just happen as they are. It's like sort of, okay, let me show you some example of what I'm talking about. Like year 2000, we didn't even know about Trump. I mean, honestly, we didn't know who he was. Even Obama was not the president at the time. But all of a sudden, year 2000, Simpsons had that cartoon. And then to 15 years later, exact same thing happens. Now, there's something somewhere, there's something pre-programmed somewhere. I mean, here's another example. Prince, okay? He died, that picture there is from one of your show, one of the Simpsons show, which happened years before Prince died. Okay? So years before Prince died. Prince died just last year. But this show was shown way before then. I mean, here's another one. I mean, now if you think of it, look at, okay, now I'm trying to tell you what I think is happening, okay? I mean, I share with you everything that just come into my mind, okay? And most of the time, there's something about something. So just, sit down there and think about it too. So, okay, The Simpsons showed this here, okay? And Simpsons, I mean, they be showing stuff I just showed you. And those things now they've got these cartoons and they're showing this part. So, I mean, just made a screenshot of it. Now, you see, teleport. I mean, I'll tell you what. What I think is happening is we got one continent, okay? All them other ones, which we call other continents, is teleported. You teleport. They're not reality. They're not in the same reality as Africa is. We have to teleport to them through these airports. Okay, so when you go into an airport, I know it sounds like, oh, there she goes. Wait, I'm going to show you a whole lot of evidence and show you supporting information that there is something about this, because one, the Bible don't support these other continents too. There's a whole lot of things that just don't make sense, okay? And now you go to the airport to get into an airport. Now there's different gates, so you get into the gate, into the portal. It's like a portal. I mean, there's something into this, okay? So I just think, okay, let me just explain this airport thing first. So the airport, you get into the airport, you use your passport so that you can pass the port in the air. So I think they got airports, like portals in the air. So you want to pass that air portal. Okay, you know what a portal is when you go from one dimension, you pass in through the other one. Okay, so It's some magical thing. I don't really understand it 100%, but I've seen, YouTube videos and people talking about these things, that there's portal. So you teleport into some other place, which is the other continents, including the one I'm in now, the United States. Because if it's not in Africa, it's a teleported place, I think, because nothing else makes sense here. I'm telling you, even when you go to other countries, same thing. Unless you're in Africa, it's so different. The African continent is very different. I mean, you take the passport. Let me come back to the airport thing. I'm going to show you more about the Africa thing I just spoke about now. So you take this passport, you go to the airport, okay? So the air portal, the access to the air portal is in the airport, okay? So you go and board a flight in there. So this flight is an airplane, okay? So you go into the airplane, and they call these places, like, there's astral planes, okay? So this machine you get into, you call airplane. It's a machine that gets you into a different astral plane. So it's an airplane. So when you get into that astral plane, there's one place, there's the astral plane that gets you to portal into another place. It's just that you're sitting in the airplane, you don't even understand what's going on. But that's what's happening behind the scenes. You get into the airplane, gets into a different astral plane to another continent, okay, which is a teleported continent. It's not a real continent like Africa that was created. It's a made up. They call them civilizations. So they build up all this. So how they do this thing? Okay, let me carry on about this airplane. Okay, I'll when I start asking these questions in my mind, I just speak about them. But I do have information about them here on the same video. So now talking about this airplane. So okay, let's look at it. What really happens when you board a flight? Okay, then you can start asking yourself some questions in your head. Okay, what's going on here? So you use your passport to pass that port. Okay, so now you get into this airplane that's going to get you through the portal to somewhere else. Now somebody said, no, it's just an airplane flying and going to some other country. No, look at it. Think about it. When you board that, I'm talking about international flights now, not domestic flights. I mean, you can see the land up to where you land. But the international flights is, you see the land, you start drifting away from the land, you drift away, and then suddenly it's going to be starting to see them clouds. Then you start thinking, okay, yeah, we are above the clouds now, which makes sense. But every time, even if the sky was so clear, now even if the sky was so clear, you will be surrounded with thick clouds without fade. In an international flight, I mean, I've flown many times. In an international flight, you will be surrounded every time with thick clouds first. Thick clouds, and you can't see nothing else but that thick clouds. And the plane will keep on going. I mean, you would expect to at least see, sometimes, because now they say the continent is the sea. So every plane that's international will drive over the seas, okay? So you'd expect to see this. I mean, if the sky is clear, that's the picture you expect to see. But no, you won't see that. You'll see thick clouds, and you won't see you leaving the land to the seas, and then you see when you look through the window, you just see the sea on the ground. No, you just see the thick clouds. That's all you see when you look in an international flight. All you see. So what I think is happening, and then it goes completely dark. Completely dark. No matter where you're going, it will get completely dark. And now I start to wonder, okay, now what's going on? So I think then that's the time we get into that astral plane where we get into the portal. We pass through the portal. The portal getting us into another dimension, which is these civilizations now we live in right now. Because they're not part of the creation, the original creation, which is the continent Africa. They are made up civilizations. They call them civilizations. They are made up. How are they made up? They teleport things from the African continent. So they teleport them to here. So more like importing them, but not physically importing them. They teleport them. It's some mechanism they use. I see they're showing them in the movies sometimes where they teleport. But now sometimes it can go wrong because the teleporting thing that they're using is not perfect like creation. You'll see, like here in the States, loamy soil is mixed with sand. It's not, you won't only find sand by the beach. Even the sand by the beach, you can see it's made up. There's no waves. It's just the beach, just there. It's just water. I mean, the first time I went to this other beach, I was like, "What? Where are the waves?" It's like the waves even are just. It's not natural waves. It's just stuff that's and even the sand. You can tell that this sand has been poured up in here. It's not natural. Okay, if you go to Africa seas, you'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, so everything is just made up. So now you'll be walking out into a front porch. You walk down, and if you dig anywhere, you'll see sand. I mean, how you find sand where you stay in it? It's like there was once a sea or beach around there. How does it? Because sand, you never find sand where it's a settlement people live at. Sand is only by the sea. That's how it is in the African continent. But in the teleported way, everything mixed up. You dig. I mean, you can just have a look yourself. Okay. Now, okay, coming back to this. I mean, I just say everything that comes. So what I think is when you get into this airplane, you teleport into this other bit. Now they got viruses and glitches into this thing of theirs too. So I mean, there's even Bermuda Triangle where probably there was somebody. I think this Bermuda thing, it was somebody because some planes disappear into some portals. Just so there's this thing going on up there. There's some portal that's not really, that just snatches any, but probably it's some kind of a boss or somebody that think they got authority. One of them deities now. They think that got authority to grab anybody, people they want. Okay. Of course, they won't grab people they're not authorized, but if in an airplane, they just grab whoever they want in there. So as you know about the Bermuda Triangle. Now this Bermuda is probably one deity because at some point when the pants, if you remember now, when the pants first came out in Africa, in the southern part of Africa now, the land beyond the Kush, in the southern part of Africa, when they were called Bermuda. I mean, is that coincidence? You tell me. How are the pens? All pens were called Bermuda when they first came out. So I get an impression that Bermuda is a person. In as much as they're trying to say, no, Bermuda is just a triangle. No, those pens were called Bermuda. So Bermuda probably is the first civilization, is the first architect or whoever, somebody who builds civilizations, the first person who did it. Who just, made it up and started designing how clothes should be like, because there's no reason why all long pants, actually long pants were called are still called Bermuda in the villages there. You're wearing a Bermuda. So I mean, stuff like this, it just raises questions because there's clues everywhere. But if you start connecting the dots, you'll see a whole lot of things behind the scenes. I mean, look at the Earth grid. They got this grid where there's energies, there's focal points which got some certain kind of energies, like concentrated in one place. And that place, if you look there in the southern part of Africa, that's where Johannesburg is. And then in the northern part, I don't know what is up there. But there's no coincidence because all international flights in the southern part of Africa, they go out international through Johannesburg. They go out through Johannesburg. Okay. So it's really no coincidence. Yeah. Where were we? Okay, I'm back now. So yeah, in Johannesburg. So now think about it. Even if you are coming from another city, your flight will go as international flight, but eventually will leave the African continent through Johannesburg. I mean, that is something already. Okay, that is something. Or that other place on top there. Can't remember what it is. I mean, so there is something about something. Probably they're building certain kind of energies and whatever to teleport outside through those two airports. Okay, the Johannesburg airport and the other one. I don't know what that country up there is. Okay, so now, I mean, think about it. Okay. This place, this thing, it gives me an idea that these countries, okay, the ones that are not outside of African continent, are like a made-up matrix, okay, so controlled by something called time. Because I know everything is controlled by time. So if you take away time, everything will be on a standstill. So for as long as the thing called time is there, then everything works, okay, because all those and natural, because now you must remember the creator uses the natural, but the fake creator, which is the devil, now he created all these civilizations and all these technological things. So he uses the fake realities, okay, or like more like fake creation using technology. So this is what I think is happening there. So they teleport the physical matter into these new civilizations, okay? And these new civilizations, they operate through a matrix. And this matrix can only move forward, can tick, 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 moving forward using the thing called time, okay? And now this thing called time, I think, okay, here's that something else I want to explain. All these things are just stuff that just get into my mind, ideas that and they make sense because they correlate with everything else that I see around me. So I think the devil, before he started formulating, because now the creator has to approve everything. So I think what the devil presented for approval is this pre-plan. He showed the creator that, okay, he has everything that he's going to do here in the world, or I don't want to say earth, but in this civilization, in these realities that he got. He showed everything is going to work with one kind of time. Okay, so be it at different astral level, whatever level it is, but it's going to operate with the same thing called time. It can be in a different era, but the time is going to be the same. That's what I'm just thinking when I'm looking at these things. So everything just works with time. Time is time, and then they move forward with all these teleported thing. Now this thing of theirs, it glitches sometimes, just to show it's a made up reality, because the physical thing, the fact that you can touch something is because your brain tells you there's warmth, there's something you're touching, it's cold, it's warm, whatever you're touching, there's a physical something. Then it's your brain telling you that. That's now how the fake reality works, okay? And that's what the scientists teach everybody at school, that your brain interprets everything as if, even the natural creation works like that. No, natural creation is what you see. It's not teleported, okay? But the teleported reality works like the brain interprets everything that you touch. It's like a fake reality, okay? So now it glitches sometimes. All right, like you see sometimes, you be riding in a train, there will be somebody who looks and wear exactly the same thing. So which shows that these two people come from different planes. I'll call it astral plane again. So it's the same person, but then existing in different planes. So probably it's a copy and paste. Well, that's what the devil does. He copies and pastes, copy and paste, copy and paste into different planes, and then makes. Okay, I keep getting disturbances now. Okay, wait. So this glitch here, it just clearly shows that it's a copy and paste to different planes. Okay, look at this one. I mean, how can this woman be in different? And sometimes it will be a different age. So probably time has got different dimensions. It has vertical dimensions, which is called age one, age two, age three. Different ages, and then there'll be the horizontal dimension, which is now the time going forward. It's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, going forward. I think that's how this matrix is made up of horizontal, y, and then the vertical, horizontal and vertical. Okay, so vertical being the ages going up, and then the horizontal being the time going forwards. Okay, and then within that is the matrix, which is controlled by that time. Okay, because the fact that those two are in that same place at the same time is a glitch. Okay, and this one here is another glitch, same age and everything. It's a glitch. You mean so this thing is just, look at these are not Photoshop. These are real. This is not Photoshop at all. This is real. Perfect. Now I had another one. I'm going to show you, just to show you. I'm not just showing other people play. I saw a glitch in with my own eyes last week, not even long ago. Last week, I think it was Thursday. Actually, it's this week because it was a Thursday. Yeah, I was driving to the library, and now this road to the library is a road I've been using for years. Okay, same road, everything same. So I'll drive up that area. If you can see that map, I just drew it up my hand. I drive the area and then I make it a right. You see, when there's some lane lines that you're going to make a turn, or that gas station and stuff. So there's a Shell gas station at that corner. So I knew I'm going to make a turn to my right when I get into that spot. So make a right turn at that Shell gas station, and then there will be a church. Like I'll drive a few blocks, and then I'll see a church on my right, and then I make a right at that church, okay? And then I go straight down, and the library will be on my left, okay? And then if I carry on down, there's my favorite park will be on my right, okay? That area, I've known it because I live in that area, around there, okay? So I know it like the back of my hand. You know, like when you know a place you always go to. And all of a sudden just last week, I'm telling you, I go there, I make a turn at the Shell gas station as usual. I go straight. I don't see no turn at all. No turn, no church or anything. So I just carried on going straight. And all of a sudden, I see the library on my left. I was like, okay, something was wrong. I was going to the park this time. I see a library on my left. I cannot believe what's going on. And then as I'm driving down, I see the park on my right. And I'm like, there's something wrong. And then I turn back, I drive down. Same thing as I drive down and I see that Shell gas station over there. I mean, that's a glitch. That's a glitch. They've changed, they've altered. So that's what happened. They alter these realities. Because what we see, but now the problem is, and I was the only one who remembers that there was a church over there. Can you believe it? Everybody said, no, there's no turn in that church in there. We always know we go straight and then the library is there. It was amazing. Okay, so amazing. So people in the matrix, I mean, in thousands, millions of people, billions of people are in the matrix. Okay, and some people are like us, the original creation. We live within probably the matrix. When we come to the States and other places like that, which I think they're teleported, then we are subject to this matrix living. But our memories cannot be erased, because what they do when they change the matrix, they try to change the people's brains too, so they don't remember the old map or the old thing. But a lot of people will remember and say, no, there's something wrong here. I remember how it was before. So that means the devil don't even get these ducks in a row. Because, I mean, how can he just change something and then, people will know how it was before? Okay. I mean, here's another thing that just don't make sense. I mean, the soil just show this place is really teleported. I mean, nothing makes sense at all. Like I was saying, when you go outside, the soil is mixed. The US soil, sand, you'll see sand in one spot, and then you see pockets of clay in the same spot. Pockets of clay. How does sand and clay, and then you see loamy soil, bits and pieces of loamy soil. It's like it's been teleported from some. If you watch videos about teleportation, these things happen because when they teleport, it's like this technology they're using. It doesn't know how to separate things and put things in place. That's why when a lot of the time when they teleport the whole ship, like there's one time they try to teleport the people who were riding a ship. Try to teleport them to somewhere else for some reason. And the glitch, it was the worst thing I've ever seen. The people, when they teleport, they take the physical matter and they teleport it into somewhere, and then it gotta reassemble where it's going. Okay, like television, what we see. In the television, they use the same thing. So in the television, they use those machines, the camera, video camera, to be the teleport portals. So when a physical event happens somewhere, okay, so they teleport that physical event, and it gotta reassemble somewhere else. So that's why some people say when you watch somebody, they'll be pixelating. The pixels won't come up right. The nose will be somehow not pixels. No, that pixel is a reassemble of whatever they teleported from somewhere else. Because everything that we see on TV is exactly what we saw somewhere else, was happening somewhere. So that's the same technology they're using for what we are touching now. But the difference is there's brains that interpret the stuff as if it's there. Okay, but it's not there. Unlike when you vision, it's a teleported vision. But this now it's a teleported physical. So it's stuff that we change. I don't know if I'm making sense. So now this soil. So that's what happens if you look at videos about teleporting. That you pick up the same pattern, same pattern. So in that ship, for example, I was making an example of. So those people, when they reassembled on the other side, it was so wrong. Somebody head will be fused with the walls of the ship. It was hurting because those people were really in pain, because how can your body is in the bathroom, nothing came through normal. They didn't reassemble properly, where the head gotta find the body and be joined to the body. No, they went and reassembled wrong. Some glitch happened in the reassembling, such that they reassembled with the ship. So somebody's arm and legs will be part of the ship. And people were crying because I hear it was hurting. Okay, I don't know if you've seen that video. Anyway, so, I mean, that's what you see in the soil. The soil now is something you can go out there and, I mean, when you go to Africa, you will see that soil is separate. Sand is only by the beach, unless you go pick it up and you put it for a certain purpose, and you can see that this is the sand. It's not mixed with clay like something that's been made up. So it's just there, it's separate. Okay, it's totally separate. And the loamy soil is where the settlement is. People be plowing the fields, and then the clay will be closer to the mountains. It's all organized. But the devil world is not organized at all. He just builds civilization. His focus is in the fake. Everything is fake in him. He makes it up. I mean, look at the trees in the States. Those trees, don't tell me that you think that's natural. Those are planted. You can just see. It's like it's made up. Things are made up. It's not natural at all. I mean, their trees planted. There's no natural anything. First of all, there's no forest, something called forest. The Creator never created. I mean, I don't see none of that in the Bible talking about forest. The only time, even in the villages in the southern part of Africa, when they talk about forest, that's where the witches are. That's where the witches are, and they are made up forests. They're built. They build up trees, a lot of trees, and make it thick forest, and that's when they do witchcraft. And it's well known. If you see a forest, you run away from there, because that's when the witches are. That's the only place you see a forest. But there's nothing called forest down there in the southern part of Africa. But then in the States, it's like everywhere is a forest. They call it woods. Everywhere is woods. I mean, look at those trees, for example. Those are not natural. They are planted. You can just see how perfect they. I mean, look at these ones. They're all. It's like they're made up. It's not natural at all. At all, totally at all. I mean, look at different examples. All made up. Now, as I was saying, in Africa, it's even where the animals is at. It's not forest. It's like there will be a lot of trees clumped together just for shade for some animals, especially wild animals. That's where you see this. But it's not tall trees like a forest thing. It's like it will be a tree and the very big plains, and then another tree. You won't find a forest. Where people live at. That's where it's gonna be like. Where people live at, there's no bunch of trees or bushes, and it's just for shade. And you find a tree there and a tree there. And these people didn't cut nothing. I mean, they just live there. They didn't first fix it up and try to. It's been like that from creation. So, I mean, yeah, you make your own conclusion, but I think, there's no smoke without fire. All these things are made up. These people be lying to us all the time. So no reason for them to tell us the truth now, that their things is teleported. There's no continent. The only continent is Africa. They won't say it. They won't tell you that. I mean, even the Bible talks about, the only time that the Bible talks about anything outside, it talks, actually it's not even outside. It says far country. Look at what verse is that now? It says far country, ends of the earth, distant land. It won't talk about another continent. I mean, from creation, from Genesis, those are the words that the Creator uses. From Genesis, he talks about he created. He don't say that he created further, different other lands, sea, continents. There's not even a word for continent in the Xhosa now, the Bantu language. The original scrolls were written in. There's no word for continent, because there's nothing called continent. We only have one big old land. and then there'll be a far land, and there'll be close land. So the ends of the earth, that's it. Not beyond the earth or overseas or anything. It's the ends of the earth. The earth is just one, created, and he called the land, the dry land, earth, and he called the seas, the waters, seas. That's what Genesis tells us on creation. It doesn't say anything about, okay, after he calling them dry land, earth, then he called other earths. No, he had just one earth when he was creating, and that was the African continent. These other ones, you teleport into it at the airport with your passport to pass that passportal. Okay, Simpson is even summarizing it for you there. Show you that when you go into that boarding gate, you're getting to board into the teleporting thing. You line up to be teleported. you know, I mean, we all went through this. We didn't know. Can you see how the Savior really helped us? Because now imagine if we were never gonna make it in heaven if we do this thing, because the Creator was gonna look at it as if we were doing magic and stuff. Even if we don't know, because the devil created his civilizations using magic. Okay, so yeah, that's what I just wanted y'all to just think about and probably know that there is this thing that just came to my mind. So I just wanted to share with y'all that here's what's going on. But because now you children of Israel, now if you're not grafted into the fig tree and you live on earth, you are defiled by every mean. I mean, if you use airport, teleport, I mean, all of these things, you can call on Jesus, and whoever if it's not the right name, you're not gonna make it. You can try to be good and act good and do the good things. If you're not calling on the name above all name to save you, those actions are just actions. You are just a good man who does magic, who does, because this is almost like teleporting magic. I mean, this is, whether you know it or not, you think you're getting into an airplane, getting into a portal here. You are going to another civilization. That's really, that's worse. So there's a whole lot of things that we don't know that we're doing wrong. Okay, like this one right here I'm sharing with you. And even if you think you are doing, there's nothing you can do physically to make it righteous. In other words, the only way you can be 100% righteous is when you include the blood of the Savior that saved us. Otherwise, nobody can do it. Not even one. I mean, this is just one example I'm showing you here in this teleporting example of you practicing magic, whether you know it or not. This is magic. Okay, so and if you think you're doing it, yes, you're doing the right things, but it's not enough to make you to heaven. Okay, so you need that blood of the Savior to save you. Okay, you need that name above all names. You just follow what he said we gotta be doing.